course, I would like to welcome to Manila and to the palace Judith Collins, who is the New Zealand Defence Minister, and your delegation who have come here today. And I thank you for all the progress as well that we have been doing in terms of the partnership between New Zealand and the Philippines. I think it is well recognized that these partnerships have become very important in the face of all that is happening, not only in our region. It began just our region, but it's now unfortunately extended to the rest of the world. But nonetheless, those partnerships that we have formed and that we have, the agreements that we have made, bilaterally and on a multilateral basis as well, have been extremely important. And this is why it is very good that you have been able to come, Madam, to visit with us in the Philippines and to witness our new agreement between New Zealand and the Philippines.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, for taking the time to meet with me and our delegation. And of course, I acknowledge my good friend Kawiso. We've met on numerous occasions now, so it's the relationship between the Philippines and New Zealand, I believe, is very strong. I would like to acknowledge, though, the tragedy in Vancouver, Canada, that affected some Philippine citizens, and it's a terrible tragedy when things like that happen, and I know that the whole community of the Philippines will be feeling for those families that have been so badly affected.
And thank you very much. It was a stunning. We could not quite believe what had happened, and it was totally unexplainable. It could not even be categorized as a terrorist attack, because it was simply, apparently, the perpetrator was just mentally disturbed. And it wasn't particularly against Filipinos. I don't know. Well, precisely, we haven't been able. There's no way to explain it in any kind of logical way. So, but thank you for your thoughts, and I hope prayers for our casualties.
To witness the signing of the Philippines' New Zealand status of visiting forces agreement. Agreement between the Philippines and New Zealand will bolster the defense and military ties between the two countries, establishing a legal framework for the armed forces of the Philippines and the New Zealand Defense Force to conduct joint exercises and activities, thereby strengthening interoperability with the signatories, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, and the Ambassador of New Zealand to the Philippines. Thank you, Mr. President.
Our ministers to give their opening statements, with Secretary Teodoro, with Minister Judith Collins to go first.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted to be here in Manila on my first visit to the Republic of the Philippines to sign such an important agreement with Secretary Teodoro. The status of visiting forces agreement delivers on the commitment made by our leaders last year to strengthen defence engagement and explore new frameworks for cooperation. This reflects the strength of New Zealand's relationship with the Philippines, of which defence is a key element. Our militaries already work well together, and this agreement will create the conditions for even more seamless cooperation in the defence space. It will ensure we can work hand in hand with ease, particularly when urgent responses are required, such as if we need to provide support to each other in the event of a natural disaster. Our two countries also share a region and many common interests, such as improving maritime security. We expect that bilateral defence activity will increase in the future, and it's important to have a modern quality framework to support this. As New Zealand's Attorney General, I appreciate a formal legal framework, and as Minister of Defence, I also know it is my job to ensure that serving personnel have the tools they need to perform and to achieve their objectives. That's the practical reason why this signing is so important. The other is a real understanding that the strategic environment that we are operating in is deteriorating. As a result, we have vowed to step up and play our part, working with others in our region. Today's signing is a result of Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. committing last year to concluding this agreement. That commitment was born from the understanding of the risks to the international rules-based order, and as our Prime Minister has said, New Zealand looks to protect and advance our interests in the Indo-Pacific, and we can only do so alongside partners. Because what I find as I travel the world discussing international security issues with counterparts, engaging on defence diplomacy, is that it is the human element, the personal connections that we make, that give us the ability to forge lasting defence relationships. Today, I believe we are celebrating another such relationship. My sincere thanks to our gracious hosts today and to those who have worked so hard behind the scenes to build on what has come before and to make this event a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Collins. It is indeed an honor to welcome you to sign this historic agreement between both our countries, which came about during the talks of both President Marcos and Prime Minister Luxon exactly a year today. And within 1 year, it is to the credit of both our teams on the Philippine side and the New Zealand side that they burned the midnight oil to come out with the agreement which we signed today. As you know, New Zealand is a partner of deep standing of the Philippines, not only now in defense, but also in the environment and natural resources, the National Economic Development Authority, the Department of Agriculture, and other key government agencies. New Zealand has recognized the 2016 Arbitral Award and is a partner in upholding UNCLOS and other international norms. And more importantly, I think the underpinning of this agreement is also the deep people-to-people ties that we share. The minister shared earlier that there are 100,000 Filipinos in New Zealand now who, if they're listening right now, maraming salamat po na naging excellent ambassadors kayo po ng Pilipinas sa New Zealand at reputasyon at dangal ng Pilipino inangat ninyo. I said, Your Excellency, that I gave credit to the 100,000 Filipinos for each becoming an envoy of the Philippines, upholding the highest standards of humanity, civility, good citizenship in New Zealand. And they have had influence and contributions. And the same, when I was much younger, I think the bulk of the reforestation programs were funded by New Zealand in the 70s and a host of developmental authorities. But now we come to face the reality on both our countries that peace doesn't come for free. It is not a free dividend, but must be committed to. And thus, we are committed to our mutual resilience. And in this way, through the SOFA interoperability, other enhanced exchanges shall be done for collective resilience in the Indo-Pacific region, and also bilateral efforts to develop our mutual resilience. Our threats are not dissimilar, they are similar. Whether they be from challenges to the rules-based international order or to facing the challenges posed by climate change. And in both of these challenges, our defense establishments play a key role. New Zealand has recently embarked on a defense enhancement and resilience program. Their journey will be in the same manner as us, where we are investing a lot on defense capabilities, skills, new challenges, asymmetric challenges, and our journeys share similar paths. That we learn the lesson now that peace is best backed with resilience and with deterrence. And no country in the world can afford to ignore this fact, no matter how distant one may be. And so the path of New Zealand's enhancing its defense capabilities squarely in line with the values that we share, squarely in line with the path that the Philippine Defense Establishment is taking. And it is squarely within the expectations of both our peoples to remain free, to explore and exploit the resources that international treaties grant to us for the future generations of our people. Thus, we welcome the post-signing activities. We will increase the pace of our interactions, both bilaterally and multilaterally. Thank you also for the opportunities that you have granted our defense establishment to further their education and their exposure to the evolving nature of the defense ecosystem. And in conclusion, we commit to securing to fixing the internal processes to secure a speedy presidential ratification of the same and the Senate concurrence that is required. We are indeed fortunate to have a partner as, distant to us, but as close to us at the same time as New Zealand, shoulder to shoulder. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies.
Decide to forge this agreement with the Philippines, and may you please help us understand what is at stake for New Zealand in the Indo-Pacific region, particularly in the South China Sea. And also for Secretary Teodoro, how can the signing of this SOFA help the Philippines in its territorial claims in the South China Sea?
Right, well, I'll start first. Thank you for the question. It's very important for New Zealand, that is a small nation, that we adhere to the rules-based order and, for instance, the law of the sea, the UNCLOS law of the sea. We're a maritime nation, like the Philippines. We're a nation that relies on trade routes, and we have respect for the law of the sea. We have been involved with monitoring and making sure that the trade routes through the South China Sea and others are kept open. And we do that because it is in our best interest as a small nation to show that international law matters. So the Philippines is a partner that we have engaged with over many years. There is a long-standing engagement, and we have shared in similar values, particularly when it comes to the law of the sea and the rules-based order.
As the Minister has said, New Zealand is a partner in the rules-based order. Our sovereign rights and other claims of which are being claimed by others without entitlement of claiming them. And with China, for example, being particularly aggressive in the way it does its claims, we need to deter this kind of unwanted behavior from happening. It could happen today here, and who knows where else in the future. Thus, this is not merely an exercise in Philippine territorial claims, but in upholding the rules of the road down the line, so that the Philippine experience, although we have a goal, really, of securing our constitutional and treaty boundaries and exclusive economic zones, our goal really is to have parity in the world when it comes to the enforcement of international law. Look, at any one time, we do have Filipino nationals abroad. And so it is really important for us to have clear international law norms, not only for us here, but for our citizens abroad, that we have a clear understanding and a clear determination to resist illegal attempts to reshape the world order into an order which will uphold a particular philosophy, group, or clique. And thus, our alliance building measures, latest with New Zealand and soon some more, is important because there are those who follow international law and there are those who want to redefine it. And I think the camps are becoming clearer. So, for us, any addition to those that support UNCLOS in the way it is written and not in the way it wants to be defined against the 9 or 10 dash line is welcome to us and helpful.